Start of the week, but we have to follow up because Donald Trump's so-called landslide victory, which gives him a supposed mandate, is being used to defend so many of the choices that Donald Trump is now making with regard to cabinet and nominations and policy promises.
Trump's so-called mandate is crumbling, and David Pakman just tore it apart piece by piece. This isn't just about bad math. It's about selling a lie to millions of Americans. What we're about to see shows just how far they'll go to twist reality. Let's dive in.
But that victory has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. In fact, it's experienced so much shrinkage that it is really now just a tiny little embarrassment. With every passing day, the margin has declined. It is now 1.6 percentage points and just roughly 2.5 million votes. Now, for context, Hillary Clinton in 2016 won the popular vote by 2.1%. That's more than 25% more than Trump's popular vote victory.
Here's the kicker. Hillary Clinton's margins in 2016 absolutely dwarfed Trump's in 2024. And yet, Republicans screamed no mandate for 8 years. But now they're saying Trump has a free pass. The hypocrisy is so blatant, it's laughable.
Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2.8 million votes, hundreds of thousands of votes more than Donald Trump's victory. And Trump, as of now, is underperforming Hillary Clinton in 2016. He has indeed failed to get 50% of the vote. And yet, much of the justification that Republicans are giving for, well, listen, Pete Hegseth accused of this and that and has no qualifications. Matt Gaetz accused of this and this and this and this and this and that and paying for it on Venmo and has no qualifications. Trump won a massive victory. It was a landslide. He gets to do whatever he wants now, even recess appointments, if that's how he has to do it to get his cabinet confirmed. None of this is the will of the people, but more importantly, there is no mandate when most voters voted for someone else. I want you to think back, as I said Monday, to how much respect Republicans gave Barack Obama when he won twice with real majorities. Obama. They gave him no respect. They didn't acknowledge any mandate. And so we should respect Trump's non-existent mandate just as much as they respected Barack Obama's much more real mandate. Now, the reality, of course, is it's a pretty divided country. The concept of a mandate, just because Obama won with a bigger margin, it's all a little bit shaky. As it is an incredibly divided country and the victories kind of depend on the margins. But at least as far as the next 4 years are concerned, certainly not a red wave, not a landslide. It was a plurality win in an election where Democrats admittedly didn't show up. Now, that's still something we should be concerned about. Trump upped his vote totals from 2020 a little bit. Harris's vote totals declined significantly more compared to Joe Biden's in 2020. That's a concern. What was it about Kamala Harris that didn't work for a lot of voters? What made people stay home? The postmortem must be done. It's being done. And we'll talk a little bit about how people are looking towards 2028. But that's not an excuse, right? If more Democrats had voted, the conversation would be very different. Trump and the Republican Party would be claiming a mandate no matter what, because that's what they do. But we should be clear, a plurality isn't even a majority, never mind a mandate. The smaller Trump's margin, the stronger the case becomes for resisting the agenda, because they don't have the majority of the American people behind them. They don't even have the majority of the voting public behind them. So at the end of the day, it was never about facts for them. You know, it's about spin. It's not like if I go and pick your favorite right-wing influencer. If I go and tell Michael Knowles or Benny Johnson or Ben Shapiro or Dan Bongino or whoever, if I go, hey, there's no mandate, most people voted for someone else, you think they're going to go, you know what, David, you're right. Trump shouldn't really get to do whatever he wants with impunity, because you're right, he didn't even win a majority of the votes. Of course not. They don't care. I'm not naive. This is not going to matter to the people claiming the mandate, because the people claiming the mandate aren't.
The most dangerous part of this isn't just the spin, it's how easily it's believed. Pakman hits on something most people don't talk about. Millions of Americans can't fully engage with these facts, and that's exactly what the GOP relies on. It's infuriating.
Interested in facts. We are living in a completely dangerous reality where facts do not matter. What's that phrase? Those may be the facts, but I know the truth. Similar to Donald Trump's "don't believe what you are seeing and hearing." So what am I supposed to believe? What you tell me? Yeah. What Trump tells you is what he wants you to believe. We also, I know this gets a little edgy, and some people write in and they go, David, attacking people's education isn't a good idea. It's not an attack on education. We also have to just acknowledge this is a fact. We can say how we feel about it, but it's a fact. More than 1 in 5 adults, 21% of adults, are considered functionally illiterate. They read below a 6th grade level, even though they are adults. You see this, by the way, when we listen to some podcasts, right? You look at some of the podcasts that Trump and higher ups in the now incoming Trump administration have done over the last 3 months. You do see hosts they seem functionally illiterate. They are operating at the level that many of the voters are operating on. It's not an insult. I wish they had more education. We should get more education to people. But that's also a factor here, because the literacy level, or the lack thereof, it can impact people's ability to perform everyday tasks, fully participate in society. But the point is, they certainly don't care about what seems like a technicality to them of most voters voted for someone else. Trump didn't get 50% of the vote. It's not going to make a difference if they can even conceptualize the difference between majority and plurality. So it's really just for us. If you were thinking of, I might not really try to resist or activate because after all, it really was a big win for Trump. Well, turns out it wasn't quite as big as Donald Trump wants you to believe.
This is where it all comes together. David Pakman drives it home. It wasn't quite as big as Donald Trump wants you to believe it was, and that's exactly the problem. The GOP's entire strategy hinges on exaggerating a shrinking victory into a fake mandate. They'll keep selling this lie because it's the only way to justify their agenda, but we're not buying it, and neither should you.
It was. That's the important message. And so it should just reinforce and embolden us to say, most of us did not vote for this, and therefore it's even more important that we resist it.
Look, here's the bottom line. Trump's so-called mandate is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. David Pakman laid out the truth, and the numbers don't lie. Most Americans did not vote for this, but the GOP doesn't care about facts. They care about spinning their way to unchecked power. If you're tired of these lies, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're not done exposing the games they play. No spin, no BS, just real progressive truth. Drop your thoughts below. How do we fight back against this endless propaganda? Let's keep this conversation going. Stay curious, stay critical. Peace out.